was like, I just do something out of the ordinary. Every other month, I make sure that I do something that's not normal. Ooh, what's good, everyone? Today's a little fun, a little different. I have a calendar here. I am not seated next to the tea set. I'm not sure why I'm out of breath. But, yeah, I thought this would be fun. This was perfect because I love when I see something that somebody puts into words my thoughts or ideas and stuff way better than I ever could have. And I saw something that I thought was a really great follow-up video to the last video I had talking about one simple habit to get closer to living the life of your dreams, right? What is the single, simplest, but most important habit that you can start? And that was turning the autopilot off, learning how to turn off the autopilot, right? And so then I saw another video. It was, his name's Jesse Itzler. And I just came across this super randomly, this concept. But basically, I don't know this whole guy's story. He's lived like this crazy awesome life. He used to be he started out as like a comedian on MTV, like way back in the day. And he does all of this like marathon running stuff now or whatever. But anyways, I love this idea. All right, so it's like a calendar system for an epic year, okay? And I feel like it aligns perfectly with trying to get your head out of the autopilot, right? And so what is that? What is the calendar year? So he actually has something that's called the Big Ass Calendar. I'm sorry, Jesse. I'm sorry. I'm cheap. I didn't get the real Big Ass Calendar, but I'm sure I will one of these years. This is nice. This is a nice entry point for everyone else watching out here. This was $5. So I paid $5 for this year in review calendar, which is going to help me plan out an epic year and turn off the autopilot. And what is this epic system all about? It starts with this. One misogi. What is a misogi, you may ask? It is a Japanese cultural thing. So it actually means water cleansing. And it's something that they do out in Japan. Some people, they'll go stand under this freezing, frigid waterfall. And that's like their misogi. It's supposed to be sort of like a reset, you know, on their body, their system, and all of that. Right, makes sense. That's kind of evolved and been expanded into a misogi being a life-defining thing in your year that you can look back on. Like this defined the year, right? And in the words that Jesse Itzler has on his website is a goal so big it defines your entire year. So what could a misogi be? What are some ideas for a misogi? I think it looks different for everybody, especially somebody who's like not done much of anything and doesn't have many hobbies or anything like that. What is a goal so big that it defines your whole year? That might look completely different to somebody else. And hopefully the goal is that maybe we do this for 5 years. We look back on our misogi from 5 years ago and maybe we laugh at ourselves a little bit. Like, we can go so much harder these days, right? That's the goal. And so what are some misogi ideas? In my personal misogi, what is my misogi? What did I decide for my misogi? That is a tough one. I feel like there's just too much I want to do, and I just overanalyze things, right? So what is my one misogi? I think that these videos are kind of my misogi. I was thinking it was either going to be these videos or a solo backpacking trip. By myself, obviously that's what solo means, right? But so a solo backpacking trip by myself, nobody else. I kind of want that to be my misogi, but I'm kind of feeling these tea time with flower videos too. So I don't know. Maybe it's just both. Maybe I do both. Maybe that's kind of tied into each other. I don't know. But what is your misogi? What are some ideas for your misogi? Here's one. Here's a couple. Could change your career. That could be your misogi for the year. Running a marathon, your first backpacking trip. It doesn't have to be solo. Could just be your first one ever. Could be your first hike. Have you never gone hiking? You could go on your first hike ever. A week-long camping trip with no phones. That's definitely a goal that could define your year, right? Raise at least $25,000 for a specific nonprofit, renovate your home, write a book, dry January, or even a dry year. I've seen some people doing that. Starting your company or moving to a new city. I think those are all really great examples of a goal that would really define your year you could look back on, right? And so I'll let you know what I decide about my Misogi, if I'm just going to tie them into one, because I think I will. But it's not all about just the Misogi. We move on now to what he calls 6 Kevin's rules. 6 Kevin rules. And what is that? So I'm pretty sure I heard he came up with the name 6 Kevin's rules because he had some friend named Kevin, and he was like, dude, you live like this awesome life. Like, tell me your secrets, basically. And he was like, I just do something out of the ordinary. Every other month, I make sure that I do something that's not normal, you know? And so 6 Kevin's rules, they are: if you take one day every other month and do something you normally wouldn't do, you end the year with 6 new adventures you wouldn't have had otherwise. Simple enough, right? Like, and you can look back on the year, 6 new adventures, that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit that you can add into your backpack of stories and all sorts of other things, right? And then you think about it every other month, you're like, man, that doesn't seem like much. It doesn't seem like much doing something every other month, but it's probably more than like what me or you are doing now, you know? So it just makes you think about it. It makes you think maybe we've been overcomplicating this whole life thing, right? Because you only have to do one thing every other month to get 6 new adventures out of the year, which is pretty cool. I like the perspective that puts it in. So, some ideas for you. Join a cooking class, go on a local tour, plan to go sightseeing, some spring blooms, you know, that's out of the ordinary. Maybe you could go for a aimless drive, you know, the Sunday drives that they used to have. Maybe you'd plan that for one of your months, or visiting a friend that you don't normally see. And of course, don't let yourself come up with excuses for why you are not doing these things, saying, I don't have enough money, I'm too broke. Kevin's rules, I think the rule to Kevin's rules is you do not need to make it about money. Does that mean it might be a little more difficult? Maybe you have to get your gears spinning in your brain a little more to try to figure out what those might be that could cost the least amount of money, but definitely possible. We live in a place with an abundance, so we could figure it out. I would love to hear what you come up with. And then, what are my Kevin's rules? So I actually have it. I've planned a couple things, okay? I do have a 3-mile obstacle course planned. That's super out of the ordinary for me. And it's like a mud course or whatever, so it's going to be nothing but like mud and all this cool stuff. Yeah, that's weird. That's not something I normally do. I saw it, I'm like, let's run it. I'm doing the epic year, and so that's one thing that I'm going to add to my every other month, doing something out of the ordinary. That's going to happen sometime this year. And actually, I have one coming up this month too. I'm going to go to a comedy club. I'm going to go watch a comedian live. That's what I'm doing this month for my out of the ordinary thing. And what's the last one? What's the last part of an epic year? All right, so you got your Misogi. You got your, sorry, I only got 3 papers here, but it seems like I have a lot more. You have your Misogi, 1 Misogi, a goal-defining thing, defines your year. You have 6 Kevin rules. Do something cool, something out of the ordinary every other month, okay? Last one, you have 4 winning habits. 4 winning habits. That's really not too bad. That's not asking too much of anybody, I don't think. So, utilize the power of small, simple steps. Just 4 new habits can transform your life. I think that's true because you can build upon habits over time and they can change your life. It's really the simple things that make the big difference. And so, what are some new habit ideas? It could just be drink X amount of water daily. I think they say you should drink like half your body weight or quarter your body weight. I don't know. Something like that, right? Send handwritten notes to people. I like this one. I think I'm going to do this one for my next quarter. So I guess I should explain. The 4 winning habits, you do them every quarter. So every quarter you have 1 winning habit. And so a quarter lasts like, however many months. First quarter, drinking new water. Second quarter, could be reading 5 pages a day of anything, or maybe it's a specific book that you want to learn about. You're dedicating the habit of reading 5 pages a day. And then you could have always being on time, a habit of always being on time, or even only eating out twice a month. That could be a habit for a quarter too. And so that's also awesome because it's like 4 habits, if they stack upon themselves, they can make a big difference in your life. But that's only 1 habit that you're trying to focus on each quarter, which is totally manageable, right? So I love that. And I hope you love it too. That's the simple calendar system for an epic year. And I think that it is simple. I think it's manageable. And I think it's something that can easily start getting people out of autopilot, right? Just doing something different. And that's helping our neuroplasticity. As soon as we take that step out, I've noticed that as soon as you take that step out into the universe, into the world, you're going to start getting confirmation that you're doing the right thing. If you do anything, stepping out, going out of your comfort zone, doing new things, you're going to get a confirmation somewhere that you're doing what you should be, because that's what this is all about, right? This is all about creating a life that is worth something to you. So, hope you love that. I'll probably be back, hopefully, later this week, but have a great week, y'all.